Can a continuous glucose monitor be helpful for mental health? My name is Dr. Ruth Dutton. I'm a board certified adult psychiatrist, and I focus on the overlap between mental health and metabolic health because the two are so closely related. So, for those of you who don't know, a CGM is a continuous blood glucose monitor. And so it's a little disc that you put on your arm and it tests the glucose levels in the subcutaneous fat, which is essentially equivalent to your blood glucose levels at that moment. And it sends you real-time data, usually through an app to your phone, to show how your blood glucose levels change in response to different inputs. So this includes things like food, obviously, sleep, stress, and you can see how your blood sugar levels can change with those inputs. Now, where does mental health come into this? Well, we know that mental health symptoms, things like severe anxiety, irritability, panic attacks, dissociation, can be associated with the spikes and crashes in your blood sugar. So when you eat a high carbohydrate meal, what happens is you have a spike in your blood glucose, and this is followed by a release of insulin, which is the hormone that helps to bring your blood glucose down and your cells to absorb it and utilize it for energy or store it as fat. Now, as that blood sugar is dropping, that can present with symptoms of hypoglycemia, either if it goes too low or if it's dropping at too quickly of a rate. So this can feel like dizziness, fatigue, confusion, anxiety, shakiness, drowsiness, irritability, etc. And so in order to prevent your blood glucose levels from getting too low, your body has to release counter-regulatory hormones. So this is going to include glucagon as well as stress hormones like norepinephrine and cortisol. And so when those get released, your blood glucose is going to stop dropping, but then depending on how much of these hormones are released, it may actually shoot back up and then you have high blood sugar again. But associated with the release of those counter-regulatory hormones is going to be the stress response. So you may have anxiety, irritability, agitation, hunger, etc. So when you're using a continuous glucose monitor, you can observe if there seems to be any association between what you're eating, what's happening to your blood sugar levels, and what psychiatric symptoms you might be experiencing. Thankfully, now these are available without a prescription because usually insurance will only cover this if you have a diagnosis of diabetes. But you can now buy them over the counter for about $50 to $70 for a monitor that lasts for 2 weeks. And this is obviously a little bit of an upfront investment, but all you really need is those 2 weeks and you can get a lot of data about yourself. You don't have to wear it all the time. If you've had any experience with using a continuous glucose monitor and noticing a pattern with your mental health symptoms and your blood sugar levels, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Wishing you all good mental health today, and I'll see you in the next one.